3 days later, I'm like, where's my baby? I called and said, where's my child? Why didn't y'all send her back? Oh, she's not coming back. She doesn't want to be with you. And they took my kid. There was no formal religion in my family. They pretty much did whatever they wanted.
So you didn't grow up going to church? You didn't have choir practice, Sunday school?
No.
You just woke up and
My mother, her definition of how she would go in the neighborhood, find a church that was close where we could walk, and Sunday she'd dress us up and have my brothers take us to the church. And my brothers would take us to the church, and then they'd leave, go out, play basketball, whatever they was going to do, and then pick us up when they got finished. And when I got old enough not to go, I didn't go.
How old was that?
12.
12. Oh, okay. So you get to 12. Was your dad in your life? You grew up with your dad?
Yeah.
Okay.
You want me to tell you about my dad?
Yes.
He molested me. He did not believe that I was his.
Say again?
He didn't believe I was his. My mother, it's so complicated, it's ridiculous. I'm 65 years old. When my father died, my family members finally told me why he treated me the way he did. Because he didn't believe I was his. Because my sister he never touched. But me, he did. And so where most little girls love their daddies, I was scared. So I really didn't have family. I really grew up in a house by myself. They were there. They throw the food in, and then they leave. I learned how to cook when I was 8 years old. So I cooked for myself. I dressed myself. I was earning my own clothes to get ready for school at 5. I walked to school by myself at 5. Never had a parent come pick me up. Never had none of that. No closeness nowhere. My brothers and sisters hated me. I was like the black sheep of the family.
Were you the youngest?
Oh, I was my father's first girl.
Really?
Oh, no. My mother, she hated me. Because it caused so much confusion in the family because she couldn't prove that I was his. So it like pushed me aside. So I grew up alone. I grew up with brothers and sisters that would beat me on the daily. Sisters that would just say, I'm the oldest. My clothes should get passed down to my sisters and my brothers, right? Or sisters, right? It was backwards. I would go to school with clothes that were too tight because they were my sister's clothes. Shoes that were too tight or too big because they were my older sister or my younger sister's clothes. She didn't buy for me. I had to get whatever they had. So, I didn't know it at the time. I'm a kid.
That was your normal.
That was normal. So it was no religion-based family, none of that. To this day, it's still like that.
So when you got to high school, I mean, what type of child? I mean, were you a troubled youth?
I was very quiet.
Huh?
I was very quiet and obedient. I was very obedient. Now, being obedient is something I know how to do. Being quiet and out the way where they won't know you're there, that's something I know how to do.
How do you expect? Why do you think you were obedient, quiet?
So they wouldn't hit me. I didn't want to get beat up. If my brother would come and say, Vanessa did something, that was truth. And they would, you did that. And if a person down the street, a neighbor, said that I hit their child, that was truth. I got beat. So I learned to stay in my room. I slept all day, and I stayed up all night, because that's when the boogeyman came. That was my dad. And I used my sister as my cloak, so he couldn't get me. And sometimes when she wasn't in that bed, I'd freak out because I knew he was coming. And I'd go to find her, and she was having problems of her own with my stepbrother. She wound up having an incest baby. Well, my nephew is my nephew's father is his brother. I guess that's how you would say that.
Wow.
You know,
So a lot of dysfunction.
Oh, total dysfunction. I don't know what being normal is. I don't know what that is.
So you pretty much had a dysfunctional childhood, just a lot of confusion, things of that nature.
Oh my God!
Did you end up going to? Did you go to college or?
I did wind up going to college. Okay. I had a family member that had her husband was a counselor at UB, which is a school in my city. Okay. And he helped me get what you call it, money through the scholarship, so I can go to school. At the time I had 2 children because I was married. I had married to keep from having
before you.
I got married when I was 18, 18 to a guy in the service. Okay. That in itself is another horror story. Yeah.
But you said you got married to keep from what?
From having an incest baby. To keep my father from being a father of one of my kids. I had a girlfriend who had 3 kids, and they were all by her father.
Wow.
So I knew better. I knew better.
Wow. So you know abuse.
Yeah, I know abuse.
You could probably smell it from a
yeah. Wow. Pretty much.
So let me ask you this. So you got married. How many years were you married to your first husband? I don't know. I'm assuming it's not the husband you're with now, but
yeah. He was in the service. We went to Virginia this is right after Vietnam. Okay. That stopped the Vietnam War, so he wound up not going, and we decided to go to Virginia to live. And that's when he started beating me. Came back to Buffalo, where we resided, and he left me.
Just deserted you.
Just deserted me. That was the end of that. So I was married a total of 6 months.
Wow.
But we never divorced, so because of that, he would follow me wherever I went. And I never knew why until finally, after 15 years, he said, as long as you are married to me, I will always be in your life. At that point, I went to my mother and asked her to give me, help me financially take care of myself. Why I had to pay a lawyer $250. Being on welfare, that's a hard thing to do. So I asked my mother, I said, Ma, for this month only, could you kind of just look out for me and the kids, give us food? I had the rent paid because that was like on a voucher. I said, help us out, a little food here and there. And at the time she said yes, because she had a big deep freezer. She's an old Tennessee woman herself. So she was used to having storage of food. I said, well, she'll help me out. So I gave the lady all my money. And then a couple of weeks later, when I ran out of food, I asked my mother to give me some food. She gave me some freezer-burned pork chops. I'll never forget it. Couldn't even eat them. A bowl of greens that she had in the refrigerator for like 4 or 5 days. And that's it. I cried like a baby. I had 2 kids to feed. I thought she was going to help me. I really did. So I wind up asking a friend, a girlfriend. She heard the story and she told me to come over. I made myself cry. And she gave me potatoes and chickens and canned goods, and she helped me out. I've always found the kindness of friends more than the kindness of family. And she helped me out. I made it through. I got the divorce, and he never bothered me again. So that was the end of that story.
So, so you had a tough childhood, growing up, just in every way, and tough marriage.
Kabir, I've had a tough life up until 2015.
So after your divorce, after you got your first marriage, so now where are you now spiritually? Where are you as a person now? And I know you got into drugs. That's what you did young.
Now that's after no.
That's after the first.
What happened was, okay, I got a divorce and met another man through the family. You know, I didn't pick these men; they picked me. So you figured that if they pick you, that must mean you're special. That means they want to really take care of you. No, I don't. I let this man. I've never let any man live with me and my children. I have 2 girls, and that's another story in itself. Why I didn't let them live with me, because I didn't want the chance of anybody molesting my kids. Okay, but this man I thought, hey, maybe we gonna make this, and I let him move with me, and he had a taste for cocaine, and that's how I got stuck on drugs. And after I'm living in a house, I'm sitting there doing drugs, and my 8-year-old comes up to me and says, the man downstairs has been molesting me. And,
the man, your second?
Where I lived, the man downstairs was molesting me.
The man that you were dating?
Nope.
Oh, another man?
Another man.
While you were doing?
You see what I'm saying? While I was doing drugs, living with this man that we broke up because of the drugs. He left me too because of the drugs. He didn't want to share his drugs with me. So he left me. But I'm in my house one day doing drugs, and my 8-year-old comes and tells me that the man downstairs been molesting her. He had a knife and told her if she told that he'd kill me. And my kids were well educated on, if anybody touch you, you tell mama. This man scared my little 8-year-old so bad she couldn't even tell me. And you never guess what made her tell me.
What made her tell you?
Oprah Winfrey. When she did that program when she got molested when she was 8 years old. My daughter saw that, and she came home and she told me. We left the house immediately. Immediately. I had to keep, my son at the time was 17, and we had to just drag him away because he was daddy to the kids. You know, my kids, he was the only father that my kids knew was their brother. Because, like I said, I didn't keep men. And like I said, after this, and even when I was living with him, I lost my kids living with this guy. I lost my 14-year-old daughter. I lost my 17-year-old son. They just left. They didn't want to be bothered with me because this man being in the house and drugs that I was on. And soon after I left this guy and got my daughter all straightened up, got her into the hospital after I found out she was being molested by the dude downstairs, I wound up staying with my mother, being on drugs, and I was trying to work a job. Didn't work out. And I was sitting on the phone one day complaining about just life and telling, just reminiscing over how my parents had treated me. It's like I'm talking to you right now. My mother picked up the phone and she listened. And when she heard her name mentioned about how she had done me, she kicked me out with my 8-year-old. And my 14-year-old wouldn't leave. She told me, I don't want to go out there in the streets with you. And I said, okay, I'll come back and get you. I went to another family member's house. She wouldn't take me in and told me to go to a shelter. And that's where I wind up at until I got an apartment. And once I got the apartment, my 14-year-old wouldn't have nothing to do with me. Stayed there on drugs for about a year. And my 8-year-old said, I'm going to go visit my aunt. I said, okay, go visit your aunt. gave her the bus fare, and she got on the bus. It was just straight away, so they waiting at the other end to get her. And 3 days later, I'm like, where's my baby? I called and said, where's my child? Why'd y'all send her back? Oh, she's not coming back. She doesn't want to be with you. And they took my kid. I was powerless. I'm so obedient that I just cried. And 3 months later, they put her in a home. They couldn't handle her. She was drinking. She was like 10. She was drinking. She was using drugs. And I lost my baby. I got long story short, I got myself together. I met another guy, and I just wanted to be normal. I stopped doing drugs. I got my daughter out of that home. She was 16 then. I bring her home.
What type of home is this?
Foster home.
Oh, okay.
They put her in foster care.
Okay.
It's not even foster care. They put her in a home for girls. It was I got delivered. That's same, like 2017. I got delivered at my house here. I got a healing. I have COPD. All the talking that I'm doing right now, I'm not supposed to be able to do this.
Wow.